Also, families, I'm going to be recording this presentation so we can share it with others. So I just wanted to let you know that I've started recording now.
Vamos a grabar esta presentación el día de hoy para si gustan compartirlo con otras familias. Nada más para informarles que es lo que hablemos el día de hoy. Gracias.
All right, we're going to get started and we'll just let people in as they come. I want to say welcome and thank you all for joining us today. We are going to get a chance to give you some information about the start of the school year as well as answer questions at the end that you might have.
Quiero darles bienvenidas a todos. Gracias. El día de hoy vamos a estar hablando y presentando esta información que vamos a dar el día de hoy.
And at the end, they'll have an opportunity to ask questions.
Y al final vamos a tener momento para hacer preguntas.
I'm Amber Saberton. I'm the principal. If you haven't met me yet, welcome. It's nice to meet you virtually. And I'll let the other administrators go ahead and introduce themselves. Let's start with you, Angelica.
Hello, my name is Angelica Alejandre. I'm the business manager at Monarch Academy. Buenas tardes, mi nombre es Angelica y soy la encargada de la oficina aquí en Monarch.
Adam, would you go next, please?
Good afternoon, families. My name is Adam Rand. I'm one of the assistant principals at Monarch Academy, and I support grades 3 through 5. Nice to see you all.
Angelica, will you translate who he is?
Yes, sorry. Buenas tardes del señor Adam Rand. Él apoya los grados, los maestros, el personal de tercero o quinto grado, escuela de nosotros de Monarch Academy. Bienvenida a todos.
And Mrs. Tao.
Hi, I'm Jasmine Tao. I am the assistant principal of TK through second grade. Buenas tardes, me llamo Ms. Tao. Soy la subdirectora para los grados de TK hasta segundo.
Thank you. And all of these folks will be helping as we move along this year. So thank you. All right, Mr. Ram, let's take it away. So today we will be talking about our new reopening protocols, which are centered on health and safety.
El día de hoy los temas a compartir es nuestros protocolos de reapertura que se centrarán en la salud y bienestar.
We're going to talk about the stages for reopening.
Vamos a hablar de las etapas de reapertura.
We'll talk about on-campus safety practices.
Vamos a hablar sobre las prácticas que se darán a cabo en la escuela.
And then there'll be time for you to have questions.
Y luego habrá un momento.
Go ahead, Mr. Ann. Thank you. And I just want to share that all of the decisions and all of the things that you hear today are going to be grounded in Aspire's core values. And the core values are bienestar or well-being, culture of belonging, community partnership, agency and self-determination, and joy.
Y lo que estamos compartiendo es que lo que vamos a hablar de hoy está basado en nuestros valores a través de Aspire. Y los Aspire son el bienestar, cultura de pertenencia, asociación comunitaria, agencia y autodeterminación y alegría.
Thank you. Next. When making the decision about how to reopen, Aspire took in the voice and the input of several different people and several different agencies. They took the guidance from the public health agencies like the CDC, CDE. So those are California Disease Control, California Department of Education, and Public Health and Safety.
Cuando se abrió el tema de cómo abrir la escuela, se tomaron varias voces, digamos, en consideración para abrir. Se tomó la voz del Departamento de Salud, del Departamento de Educación, para la orientación del condado y del estado.
Mm-hmm.
And did you say families?
Not yet.
Okay.
Aspire also took a family survey to gather information about how families would feel about coming back.
También Aspire tomó, dio una encuesta a las familias para ver cómo se sentían las familias de regresar a Monarch.
And from the survey data, they found that about 62% of families at Aspire said that they would feel safe sending their kids to school if we had safety protocols in place.
Y los resultados de esta encuesta que se mandó, el 62% de las familias dijeron que se sentían cómodos de a clases.
74% of parents said that if distance learning continued, that it would not be too difficult.
How many?
74.
74% dijeron que no sería tan, que sería o que no sería, sorry, that it was difficult,
That it would not be too difficult.
que no dificultoso regresar.
Mm-hmm. So they looked at many different pieces of information, state and county, teacher and principal committees, other school districts, including Oakland Unified School District, and then finally the Aspire-wide working group.
Tomaron, como había dicho anteriormente, la orientación del estado, del condado, el grupo de trabajadores de Aspire, los equipos de aprendizaje, de recursos humanos y el distrito escolar de Oakland, y maestros, y también tomaron en cuenta su opinión de ellos.
And so go ahead next, Mr. Rand. So now we just want to take a quick poll, and you're going to see this pop up on your screen. How are you currently feeling about reopening of school in fall? So I'm going to launch a poll right now, and you're going to be able to click on your screen so you can tell us, how are you currently feeling in this moment?
Vamos a tomar ahorita una encuesta, esto se toma un momentito, de cómo se sienten ahorita en este momento en la reapertura de las escuelas. Ahora, otoño.
I see you're voting right now. Thank you.
Gracias por sus votos.
We're almost all done taking the poll.
Casi terminamos de tomar la encuesta.
Okay, we're gonna end the polling now. And
Terminamos de
I'll
tomar la
share the
encuesta.
results with you. It looks like a lot of you are feeling mixed emotions. I think that's, that's very fair. There are so many things to feel around this. Some folks, 8% are feeling good. Some are feeling anxious, and 39% are feeling very concerned.
La
Understand?
mayoría de, digamos, nosotros, de todos, se sienten emociones mixtas, digamos, ¿verdad? Unos de ellos se sienten, pocos de ellos se sienten bien, algunos ansiosos y algunos muy preocupados.
Thank you, Angelica. Okay, so can you go to the next one? So now I'm going to explain more about what it's going to look like to come back to school.
Ahora habla un poco de el regreso a clases.
So if you'll see, there's a circle around stage 1. Stage 1 is distance learning. That means 100% at home with the computer.
En etapa 1, si lo ven circulado, esto es aprendizaje a distancia, que es 100% de aprendizaje a distancia.
All of Aspire schools will begin the school year in stage 1. That's 100% distance learning until at least the first quarter. So at least until October.
Todas las escuelas Aspire van a regresar o van a estar, regresarán a distancia, aprendizaje de distancia hasta cuando regresemos en la primera semana, tal vez cuando regresemos la primera semana de octubre.
And every quarter, Aspire will reevaluate to see what stage we're in. So by September, they will decide based on all of the health information and everything, if we are ready to move into stage 2 or if we're staying in stage 1, distance learning.
Aspire va a tomar esa decisión por cada, digamos, cada semestre, como le llaman quarters en inglés, y Aspire nos va a informar, por ejemplo, en septiembre nos va a informar, nos va a dar información sobre en qué etapa vamos a regresar, regresando en octubre.
Yes, and to make that decision, Aspire looks at the local public health agencies, takes everything into consideration to make those decisions.
Y Aspire a tomar esas decisiones mira las recomendaciones del Departamento de Salud.
Mr. Rand, can you go to the next slide, please? Again, we have all of the stages 1 through, oops, you can go backwards 1, Mr. Rand. Yeah, we'll just leave this here for a second. 1 through 5, with 5 being school as normal, and 2 and 3 are a little bit different in terms of number of kids and things like that.
Can you repeat that?
Oh, I was just saying the stages go 1 through 5, with 5 being normal.
Como estaba diciendo, hay a las 5. A las 5, lo cual es la etapa normal en la que estábamos anteriormente.
Yeah, and so what we can expect to see this year maybe would be stages 1, 2, or 3.
Lo que pensamos que vamos a tener este año va a ser la etapa de la 1, 2 o 3.
Okay, Mr. Rand, you can go to the next one. So since we are going to be in stage 1 for at least the first quarter, I want to talk mostly about stage 1 today.
Como vamos a comenzar con la etapa 1, más que nada nos vamos a enfocar en esa etapa, en la etapa 1 de hoy.
Remember, stage 1 is full distance learning.
Recuerden, la etapa 1 es aprendizaje a larga distancia.
Focusing on making sure every child has access to technology.
Enfocándonos que cada estudiante tenga tecnología.
We're going to distribute technology on August 3rd and 4th for our new students.
En el 3 y el 4 de agosto vamos a estar dando computadoras para los nuevos estudiantes. El día 3 y 4 de agosto.
And then we will continue to assess our technology needs from there.
Y vamos a seguir evaluando las necesidades durante el año.
Mr. Rand, you can go to the next slide. I'm going to continue to talk about this, but we'll be on the next slide. The next piece about distance learning is that you will be more regularly informed about how they're doing through progress monitoring.
Para dar los reportajes, las van a darles unos reportajes de calificación, van a ser un poco diferentes este año. Se llama Progress Monitor, como dan un tipo de progreso, reporte de progreso.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Rand. So here's an example of what a student's schedule could look like for the day.
Es un ejemplo de cómo se va a ver, cómo se puede ver un día de clases de los estudiantes.
One of the biggest differences you're going to see starting in the fall is that your child's going to have live classes with their teacher and the rest of the class on Zoom during the day.
Algo que van a mirar diferente es que los estudiantes van a tener clases en vivo con sus maestros y sus compañeros en Zoom.
So they will have a set schedule that is the same pretty much every day. And as you see in this example schedule, the majority of the live teaching comes in the morning from about 8:30 to 11:30. That's when they will be on with their class, learning from their teacher.
Van a tener una agenda, unas rutinas casi diarios, casi similares todos los días, donde vendrán que van a tener clases en vivo con las maestras y la mayor parte de estas clases se van a dar en la mañana.
Mm-hmm. We've built in times for breaks because we know it's important for the children to get up and to stretch and to take, go to the bathroom, eat a snack. So we have break and lunch time.
Agregamos tiempos de descanso porque sabemos que los niños necesitan descanso, necesitan un momento para ir y eso ya se le agregó a su agenda.
And then after lunch, they will have small group time. So the teacher will arrange for that small group time. And then they'll have all of the things that they can do independently on the computer or in paper.
Y luego en las tardes van a tener grupos pequeños, donde van a estar, las maestras van a hacer los grupos, donde los niños van a hacer su en vivo también por Zoom. Y luego más tarde van a tener grupos, clases donde ellos van a ser independientes, ya sea en la computadora o trabajo que se les dará a los niños.
Mr. Rand or Mrs. Tao, would you like to add anything about student schedules? No, it looks good. Okay.
It looks good to me, Ms. Everton.
Okay, great. Thank you, Mr. Rand. Can you take us to the next one? All right. So a little bit more about stages 2 and 3. Again, we are not in these stages at least until October, but I do want to share them with you.
Vamos a compartir un poquito de etapa 2 y 3. Como había mencionado anteriormente, vamos a comenzar en etapa 1, pero vamos a darles un poquito de lo que es esta etapa 2 y 3.
So in stage 2, the purpose of stage 2 is to give a campus safety orientation. That basically means to teach the kids how to come back into school and how to be safe.
Etapa 2 es darles una orientación a los estudiantes de cómo regresar a clases y estar, digamos, seguros o sanos. Ese es el propósito de la etapa 2. Es una orientación y enseñarles a los niños de cómo regresar a clases.
And stage 2 only lasts 2 weeks.
Y en la etapa 2 solamente dura 2 semanas. Students
would come to school in person 1 day a week in those 2 weeks.
Los estudiantes a clase solamente una vez en las 2 semanas, solamente una vez.
Mm-hmm. And for the rest of the days would be on the computer at home in distance learning.
Más sería en aprendizaje a larga distancia. Perdón, es una vez por semana. En esas 2 semanas es una vez por semana.
Mm-hmm. So that would be just 2 times.
So sería 2 veces en las 2 semanas.
And again, the purpose would just be to learn how to be safe at school, to learn how to come in and do all the safety procedures.
Y más que nada es para enseñarles cómo estar seguros, cómo estar, digamos, lavarse las manos y cómo estar seguros y clase.
Stage 3 would be the longer stage, and that is a hybrid model, which means it is both distance learning and in-person learning.
En la etapa 3 es donde se cambian van de estar en persona y luego también van a estar en larga distancia. So, tiene una combinación de las dos enseñanzas.
Mr. Rand, can you go to the next one, please? So this is, again, a summary of the stages. In stage 3, scholars would come to school every day for 4 days, Monday through Thursday, for 2 weeks, and then distance learning for 2 weeks.
Esta es la etapa 3, lo que quiere decir que los niños van a venir a clase por 4 días y luego no, perdón. It's right?
Monday through Thursday.
De lunes a jueves, sí, 4 días.
Mhm.
Y un día
For 2 weeks.
por 2 semanas,
And then distance learning for 2 weeks.
Y luego distancia por dos semanas más.
The reason that it is 2 weeks on and 2 weeks off is to give the incubation period. We know that when people need to quarantine, we know that looking at the virus, it's about 14 days time period that we look to see if people get sick.
Por la razón que sí, de distancia, de venir en persona, es porque se semanas, digamos, para ausentarse, para cuando le dan la cuarentena que les llaman, pero que se tardan, son las 2 semanas que se están dando de descanso para que no, digamos, hagan la cuarentena que le llaman.
And only half of the students would be going at a time.
Y solamente la mitad de los estudiantes en clase.
Right. So in stages 2 and stages 3, it's not the full class. It's small groups of students.
Y en etapa 2 y etapa 3 son pequeños grupos, no son todos los estudiantes.
Yes. Stage 4 is fully in person without any restrictions, and stage 5 is, with some restrictions. I'm sorry, I misspoke. And then stage 5 is completely normal.
Y la etapa 4 es en persona, pero con restricciones. Y en etapa 5 es ya en persona y sin ninguna, digamos, de restricción.
I know that's a lot of information. I want to remind us that in quarter 1 up to October, we're only in distance learning. And that may stay that way, or it might change. But from now till October, we're only distance learning.
Sabemos que es mucha información, pero lo que queremos que tengan en mente es de que estaremos en aprendizaje a larga distancia hasta octubre, tal vez más tiempo, pero por lo pronto lo que sabemos es que es de agosto a octubre.
Something I also want to highlight is that students who have a medical condition will have the option to continue in distance learning no matter what stage we're in.
También algo que quiere es que si los estudiantes tienen una condición médica, ellos tienen la opción de quedarse, seguir en la instrucción a larga distancia.
Aspire will also update you about what your options are if we move to another stage and you do not want to send your child. Aspire is working through those policies right now.
Aspire está trabajando con pólizas y se les informará a las familias, para las familias que no decidan, que no estén cómodos o que no decidan traer a los niños. Ellos están trabajando y se les dará más información.
You will also be getting a survey from Aspire on Tuesday, and it's going to ask you those kinds of questions. So it's really important to answer the surveys because they use the data to, try to make their policies.
Aspire va a mandar una encuesta este martes. Es bien importante que lo tome, por favor. Es información que necesita Aspire de cómo se sienten las familias.
Great. Okay, Mr. Rand, you can go on to the next one. Thank you. So during distance learning, we will continue to support you. We will continue to support with technology, Wi-Fi devices. We're working on seeing how we can support with Wi-Fi.
Vamos a seguir, digamos, continuaremos brindando asistencia a todos los estudiantes de Aspire a lo largo de nuestro aprendiz a distancia. Estaremos tratando de ayudar a apoyar con los Wi-Fi para las familias.
Go ahead, Mr. Ann. We will also have a nutrition program. So every Monday, our scholars can come and get, you can do a drive-through similar to the technology pickup. And you can get 5 breakfasts and 5 lunches for the week.
Vamos a seguir con el programa de nutrición. Vamos a estar ofreciendo alimentos almuerzos, desayuno y almuerzo para los estudiantes. Es como cuando entregamos las computadoras por el drive-thru, pasan y se les da 5 almuerzos y 5 por, eh, eh, para la semana.
Also, we have social emotional learning support. So we'll continue to have our curriculum, our ruler curriculum, and other opportunities for our kiddos to learn, you know, this is a hard time and we want to be able to support them with all of their feelings.
También tenemos, vamos a dar el apoyo a los estudiantes de emocional y social en tiempos difíciles. Vamos a tratar de ofrecerles el apoyo que ellos necesitan.
Go ahead, Mr. Ann. Okay, I'm going to take a quick pause before I go on. I just want to remind you that you can ask questions in the little chat box at the bottom. We're going to put them down and we're going to either answer them at the end, or we're going to, if we don't have the answer, make a note of it and get the answer as soon as we can.
Vamos a tomar una pequeña pausa para si gustan tomar nota de alguna pregunta que nos dice el chat. Ahí pueden preguntas.
Mm-hmm. And we will answer at the end of the presentation.
Y las preguntaremos, las contestaremos al final de la presentación.
Okay, so what do we know? What we know is that we'll continue to support all of you families, the scholars, and the staff needs as they come up.
Lo que sabemos ahora es que continuaremos apoyando las necesidades de nuestras familias, los estudiantes a medida que vayan surgiendo.
We know that all Aspire schools might not be in the same stage at the same time.
Sabemos que no todas las escuelas estarán en la misma etapa o al mismo tiempo.
Right, so our regions are very different. If the numbers are better in the Central Valley or in LA, they might be in a different stage than we are. Similarly, we might be in a different stage than they are.
Puede que estemos como estamos en condados diferentes de Los Ángeles o del Valley, puede hacer que vayamos a estar en diferente, digamos, curso de donde estaremos y no necesariamente vamos a estar sincronizados los dos.
We also might move between the stages as the years goes on. So, for example, if we are in stage 3 and there is a safety concern, we might go backwards into stage 1, distance learning.
También de cómo vayamos, podemos ser que estemos en etapa 3 y por razones de salud para que bajemos a etapa 2 durante el año.
Go ahead, Mr. Ann. We know that there is no guarantee that we'll reach any stage this school year.
Sabemos que no hay garantía de que llegaremos a cierta etapa particular.
So many of you might wonder, well, when are we going to go back to school in the building? The answer is we don't know.
Muchos se preguntarán, ¿cuándo vamos a regresar a clases en el edificio, verdad? En la escuela. La respuesta es que no la tenemos, no sabemos.
The answer will be always guided by health and safety first.
Siempre tomaremos decisiones con las sugerencias que nos den, como nos guíen las oficinas de Aspire.
And you can anticipate having ongoing communication and updates from Aspire. So we will continue to share with you as we know what's going on.
Vamos a seguir con nuestra comunicación. Vamos a estar actualizando de lo que ocurra y la información que recibamos la compartiremos con ustedes.
Okay, go ahead, Mr. Rand. Go ahead. I'm going to quickly go over some safety protocols. And I'm going to do this kind of quickly because we're not going in the building soon. When we do go into the building, we'll revisit all of the safety protocols.
Vamos a hablar sobre las guías que tenemos de la salud y seguridad, No lo vamos a tomar mucho en datos porque como no vamos a empezar todavía en persona, pero vamos a repasarla.
So we are following all of the expert guidance. We're listening to the experts, and we're really going to make sure that we're committed to keeping our scholars safe.
Vamos a seguir la orientación de los expertos y vamos a hacer lo mejor, de hacerlo mejor. Eh, eh, pero eso es lo que vamos a esperar, la guía que nos van a dar a nosotros.
Go ahead, Mr. Rand. So something that you can do that will help us is taking your scholar's temperature at home before they come to school. I'll pause there. I like that.
Algo que nos va a ayudar cuando regresemos es de que le tomen la temperatura a los estudiantes todos los días a clases.
And if you come back from international travel, let's say you go out of the country, make sure that you do a 14-day self-quarantine.
Creo que no sé, ok, you were breaking up a little bit. Si se van viajan fuera del país, es recomendable que se tomen 14 días de cuarentena cuando hacen un viaje internacional.
If your child or if you have symptoms, we recommend staying home.
Si tienen síntomas, les pedimos a ustedes o sus niños que se queden en casa.
And that would be 3 days with no fever and respiratory symptoms, or 10 days since you first had symptoms.
3 días sin fiebre, los síntomas mejoraron, y 10 días de que cuando ya aparecen los síntomas.
So this is very important. If we go back on campus, or when we go back on campus, there's a no visitor policy. So other than the children coming into the building and the teachers being in their classrooms, no one else can come on campus.
Es algo muy, muy importante. Solo los estudiantes pueden estar en el edificio. No vamos a recibir ningún visitante, a nadie en la escuela, es solamente los estudiantes.
The kids will remain in groups. So if they are set in small groups, they're going to stay in that small group.
Los estudiantes van a permanecer en grupos. Si están en grupos pequeños, solo se quedarán con su grupo.
Classrooms would be set up so that scholars are distant 6 feet apart.
Los salones van a estar preparados para que ellos estén 6 pies de distancia.
We would have a bathroom policy in place so that children, multiple children aren't in the bathroom at the same time.
Vamos a tener una póliza del baño para que no estén muchos estudiantes en el baño al mismo tiempo.
And we will not have physical contact with each other. And that can be really hard with the little ones. No hugging, no high-fiving. We will keep our distance with each other.
Vamos a tener, digamos, la distancia uno del otro cuando es muy difícil, especialmente con los pequeños que quieren abrazar, pero vamos a tener que mantener esa distancia con ellos.
Thank you. Go ahead, Mr. M. So there would be lots of cleaning and disinfecting in stages 2 and 3. Every day cleaning will be done. There will be lots of approved disinfectant products with using the proper equipment, and surfaces that are high touch, like doorknobs and lights, would be done multiple times daily.
Se va a hacer una limpieza profunda diariamente todos los días, y se va a hacer una limpieza especialmente donde son lugares donde se tocan a diario y por varias personas, por ejemplo, de las puertas, los escritorios, todo lo que los niños se han tocado, se va a estar haciendo con regularidad esta limpieza con, digamos, los desinfectantes apropiados.
You can go ahead again, Mr. Rand. Yeah, thank you. So that last slide was just a reminder to wash our hands. And I know we've all heard about washing our hands, so we're going to skip that one.
Ya, no vamos a hablar mucho de lavarse las manos, sabemos todos cómo lavarnos las manos.
Yes, wash your hands. So again, I want to remind us that we are going to stay in stage 1, that is distance learning at home, until at least October. We may
Otra vez
stay in
recordamos.
distance learning further, but for now, this is what we know.
Lo que sabemos ahora con certeza es de que vamos a comenzar el año con distancia, aprendizaje a distancia hasta y no sabemos qué vaya a pasar más adelante.
Okay, so now I'm going to ask the same question, but based on the information that was shared with you today, how are you feeling about our plans for reopening in the school year, now to October?
Sabiendo la información que se les compartió, ¿cómo se sienten ahora con esto que les acabamos de compartir? Si pueden hacer otra vez el encuesta que les compartimos al principio de esta reunión.
We're almost all done. Thank you for taking the poll. Right, give it another few seconds. Okay, so still have some mixed emotions. Let me share the results. Some folks are feeling better. 39% of you are feeling good. Still some concern. And you know, having feelings of concern, that's okay. This is a concerning time. There are lots of things to be worried about, but I hope that our information today can give you a little bit of ease and a little bit of comfort in knowing more about the plan.
Todavía hay emociones mixtas, digamos, y está bien, así nos sentimos varios, pero miramos que varios se sienten bien, algunos se sienten un poco menos preocupados, pero eso es, digamos, normal de lo que se estamos sintiendo todos.
Mr. Rand, can you go to the next one? Okay, so now we are going to move to questions. And Mrs. Tao and Mr. Rand are going to help me look at the questions from the chat.
Yep, Ms. Saberton. So I have them. We won't answer the questions in order because I organized them by topic, so we can get answers on the same topic, kind of answered all together. So, mientras estaban escribiendo las preguntas, los puse en un documento y los agruparon así en el mismo tema. Así va a responder a las preguntas del mismo tema a la misma vez. So the first few questions are a couple of logistical things. When is the first day of school, and when or how do we use a form or request to get computers? So las primeras preguntas son el primer día del año escolar, cómo recibir una computadora.
Good questions. First day of school is August 10th. So on, what is it? 9th, 8th, 7th, the Friday before, your child's teacher will be reaching out and you will be able to have a meet and greet with your child's teacher. You will be hearing from your child's new teacher next week. They're going to get their class lists and they'll be reaching out. And then Mrs. Tauk, do you mind translating my responses?
Sure. El primer día del año escolar es el 10 de agosto, pero en la semana antes van a tener como una junta virtual con el maestro o la maestra para poder conocer al maestro y los policías y poder ver los estudiantes.
Okay. And then the request about computers, that's a great question. So first, we're going to help the new children to Monarch. So the TK and Kinder incoming children, we're going to make sure that they have their technology. And then we will go through and do a second cycle to see our returning students. Since we had already helped many folks last quarter, then we can revisit. That's the plan.
Primero vamos a repartir las computadoras a los niños de TK y de Kinder, porque muchos estudiantes ya los tienen del año pasado. Y después vamos a ofrecer los que sobran a las familias que todavía necesitan una computadora. Okay, the next question, Ms. Saberton, is how are we going to integrate the after-school staff?
Great question. So since we're going to be doing more live teaching, any support folks will be actually in the Zooms that they will be able to assist the teachers, and they'll be able to pull out and do small group work to help students even more.
So, puesto que vamos a tener las clases interactivas, o sea, en vivos, van a poder los maestros y incluso los de después de escuela, ayudar el maestro o la maestra también. Así tener más que una persona, un maestro o maestra con los estudiantes para poder hacer grupos pequeños dentro del tiempo en que están teniendo clase en vivo. The next question, good question. I think these two questions go together. What if the student cannot attend Zoom classes every day due to parent work, and will the live sessions be recorded?
So we are thinking about and working on how to offer up the information that's missed. There's one piece, just one piece around recording the live session that's a little bit tricky, and that is the privacy of the other children in the Zoom. So we're problem solving, thinking about what that could look like to have that same content available for your child to watch if they miss the session. So more to come on that.
Nosotros estamos pensando en cómo podemos grabar la instrucción. Una pregunta o una duda es que por razones de privacidad no podemos grabar como las caras de los demasiados niños. O sea, estamos pensando en cómo podemos grabar la instrucción, pero también proteger la privacidad de los demás niños. Okay, more, thank you for putting questions in the chat. There are a few more kind of ones related to instruction. Okay, how is the learning going to be monitored?
So that is a great question. And actually, not only Monarch, but Aspire generally is working on how parents will get information on how their kids are doing. One of the things that you can expect is that you will get more frequent updates about your scholar's work. Did they complete it? How is it going? And one of the ways that you will likely be able to update and look at that is through Power School. So more information will come on how you can look at how your child is doing and see. You know, in Q4, we were all just trying to make this work. And now we actually have an opportunity to show you how it's going with them more regularly than we did before.
I just add that Mr. Rand and I will be working with teachers to make some supplemental hard copy or paper materials that go along with the live teaching. So student workbooks, packets and things, so that students can watch instruction with the teacher and then do the work, for example, on a packet. So parents will also be able to see what they're completing. So, en cuanto a cómo vamos a medir el progreso de los estudiantes, Aspire va a darnos más información sobre como las recomendaciones para todo Aspire, pero en Monarch lo que vamos a hacer, todos van a tener acceso a Power School, es el mismo programa en que hacemos las calificaciones para ver cómo está progresando los estudiantes, y también estamos diseñando materiales en papel para que los niños puedan hacer la instrucción en la computadora, pero también escribir las respuestas, y ustedes van a tener una manera de ver cómo están progresando. So, habrá más información mientras ya llegamos al primer día del año. Okay, next one. Let's see. Do all grades, okay, so the next few questions are about scheduling. Do all grades have the same schedule, including kinder and TK? A few people pulled that out. And will the morning classes be in small groups?
Okay, hold on. I'm just looking at that question. So these questions are about scheduling. They're not necessarily going to be the same. We're trying to get some continuity. What you can expect is the live teaching in the mornings. That's something I think throughout that you can expect. The minutes are a little bit different from TK, K through 5th grade in terms of how much is expected for the children. So that may change a little bit, but you can expect all live instruction to be in that morning block.
So, los minutos exactos de la instrucción va a depender, depende del grado. Pero en general, todos van a tener el horario de instrucción en vivo en la mañana. O sea, será menos para TK y Kinder, pero todos van a tenerlo a la misma, en las mismas horas. En la mañana, como dijo Ms. Saberton, entre las 8:30 y las 11:30.
You can expect to get those schedules next week. The teachers need to be able to, they're not back yet at school. They're coming back on Monday. So they need to be able to put their eyes on the schedules that we have created and tweak them if necessary.
El primer día para los maestros es el lunes que viene. Así, la semana que viene van a estar preparando los horarios para los niños. Y ustedes van a recibir el horario específico para su estudiante. I think this question relates. Oh, the question about small groups, and then we can also answer the question about IEP. So, ¿cuándo van a estar los niños en grupos pequeños, incluso si tienen un plan individual?
So the idea when it is a full class live session, all of the children will be on at that time. So kind of like how we all are right now, there's 58 of us. So within this whole class, let's say if I was teaching, I would give the lesson and then I might say, okay, I just taught you this thing. Now Mrs. Tao's gonna take a group of 5 of you into a breakout room. That means we're still gonna stay in this Zoom, but I can put Mrs. Tao and 5 kids into a breakout room where they're in their own little space, and then we all come back. So within the class, they might also have a little breakout room.
So, en cuanto a los grupos de instrucción, en la mañana vamos a tener instrucción para la clase entera, pero lo bueno de Zoom es que se puede hacer salones separados en Zoom. O sea, si tenemos dos maestros en la clase, como yo y Ms. Saberton, podemos dividir la clase a la mitad y poner yo con un grupo en un salón y ella con el otro. Así podemos hacer grupos pequeños aún por video.
So that means in terms of an IEP, that means IEP services can look a couple different ways. It could look like an ed specialist pushing into the class Zoom. It could look like, depending on what the accommodations are, it can look differently. But we would imagine it as a whole class happening and then pull out or some kind of side-by-side.
Así como dice Ms. Saberton, tenerlo todo whole class por la mañana es otra razón porque nos da la flexibilidad de tener la maestra que tiene que implementar el IEP para hacerlo en este grupo pequeño, como acabo de decir, o también por la tarde vamos a tener horas de grupos pequeños. O sea, tener el mismo horario significa que la maestra que tiene que emplear los IEPs se puede ver el horario y decir cuándo se va a juntar con cada estudiante. Let's see. The next one is, about technology. Will students have new logins and passwords?
I'm not sure. You know what? That's a great question. I'm not sure if they change from year to year. We'll get back to you on that. We'll get back. That's
The
good. But
answer
if
is
they,
no.
it doesn't change year to year.
It doesn't change. So the only kids who have new passwords would be new to Monarch students.
Okay.
So our passwords are set by our technology ed tech specialist, Ms. Chin, and all of the kids who have been at Monarch have the same password they've had the entire time they've been there.
Okay. We can also though make sure to reprint and send home.
Mhm.
Forgot.
En cuanto a, la pregunta fue en cuanto al el nombre de la contraseña para la computadora, van a ser iguales para todos los estudiantes que ya están en Monarch, nomás van a tener los nuevos para los estudiantes como de TK y Kinder porque acaban de llegar. Y los vamos a mandar a la casa para que tiene la contraseña de nuevo. Okay, the next few questions are about safety. So there's a question about if we do not have a thermometer at home, will student temperatures be taken? Will Monarch provide PPE to students? And would the children have to wear masks at school?
Okay, so if you don't have a temperature thermometer at home, that's okay. To enter the building, everybody, including adults, will have their temperature taken. Mrs. Tao, can you translate? Or do you want Angelica to translate since you're?
Yeah, so I can, there's a few more questions in the chat. So do you mind taking it over, Angelica, so I can go through and see which ones are?
Yes, yes, yeah. Si no tienen termómetro para tomar la temperatura, no hay problema. Nosotros en la escuela vamos a tomar a los adultos y los estudiantes.
Okay, what was the next question? Masks. So the governor's giving guidance on what is necessary. And I believe it is scholars in, oh my gosh, is it 3rd and up must wear a mask?
Mm-hmm.
And scholars below 3rd are encouraged to wear a mask. So it changes, the rules from the governor change, and they just changed a couple days ago. But third and up must wear a mask. Below 3rd, we're asking to wear a mask. And so that is the guidance for now.
La pregunta era si tienen que los estudiantes tapabocas. Del gobernador es de que de los estudiantes de 3º a 5º grado, o sea, de 3º para arriba, digamos, tienen que utilizar las tapabocas. Los niños de kinder a 2º, les pedimos que la utilicen, pero pues están más pequeños, pero es recomendable que la utilicen a medida de que veamos que cambia la regulación dependiendo de lo que diga el gobernador.
And then I think, Mrs. Tao, you said there were more safety questions.
Oh yes, about will Monarch provide PPE, so masks and other PPE to the students?
Angelica, do you know if we are?
We were provided for the staff. Yeah, we were provided for the staff only.
So that is to be determined. I have not heard if we have student masks or not, but we will let you know when we know.
Hasta ahorita solamente nos dieron tapabocas para el personal, pero les informamos más adelante si es que va a haber disponible para los estudiantes.
Okay.
The next question, I'm going to jump down because I think it's pretty quick. In what stage do students need to wear uniforms?
Well, not stage 1 for sure. So I would say when they're back on campus, stage 2.
Y la pregunta era en qué etapa vamos a ocupar los uniformes. Definitivamente no en la etapa 1, así que cuando lleguemos a etapa 2 es cuando vamos a ocupar uniformes.
And the last one we have so far, and then I'll check the list again, is do we have to apply for after school again if the student was in it last year?
So good question. After school program is very different, and you'll hear more from the after school director, Ms. Brooke, about it as it's coming through. Since we're not in the building now, or at least through October, you know, that's on pause, but you will be hearing from her. She'll have an interest form that families can fill out. And the reason that you would have to fill this out, even if you were there last year, is because it's different. So going to look different. Yeah.
La pregunta era si tienen que llenar las aplicaciones para el programa después de clases. Sí, las vamos a mandar. Ms. Brooke va a mandar más información y se va a mandar la forma de la aplicación, digamos. Se tienen que llenar otra vez, aunque ya haya estado el año pasado, porque es un programa diferente. Va a ser diferente porque no estamos en la escuela. Sí, Ms. Brooke va a mandar más información.
Do you see anything else in the chat, Mrs. Tao? I'm gonna look at the settings. I see in the chat that you want to unmute yourself. So let me see how I can work that. Just give me 1 minute. Okay. Any other questions that we?
Yeah. One last one clarifying stage 2. That in stage 2, kids will go to school once. They didn't specify the time, but yes, they'll go to school. Oh, how frequent will they go to school in stage 2?
So stage 2 is 2 weeks, and each week they will go to school 1 day. So in total for stage 2, it would be 2 days.
En la etapa 2, que es una etapa de 2 semanas, van a ir 2 días a clases. 1 día por semana.
And will the students who were in after school program last year get preference in getting in again, or is it first come, first served?
I am unsure of what that policy is at this time. Ms. Brooke will have more information on how selection will be. Yeah.
I didn't hear the question.
The question was about, do students who are in the after school program last year get preference?
And we don't know yet, ¿verdad? That was your answer. Ya no sabemos todavía si van a recibir preferencia. Como les digo, Ms. Brooke se va a comunicar con las familias más adelante.
And then one more. Oh, will 5th grade students continue using the same uniform from last year?
Yes.
Los estudiantes de quinto continuarán usando el uniforme igual que el año pasado.
But I do want to say this about uniforms. This is a time that we've never had before. This pandemic, this, it's a really hard time economically for our health. If you can't get uniforms, please don't worry about it. I care that your children are safe. I care that they are learning. If you cannot get the uniform, we will work around it.
Son tiempos diferentes. La pregunta era si vamos a ocupar uniformes. Tiempos diferentes, son tiempos, es un año muy, muy diferente y estamos en etapas, digamos, difíciles económicamente. Si usted en este momento no puede o no es necesario comprar los uniformes, entonces no los compren ahorita y ya llegando a ese momento veremos qué podemos hacer.
And honestly, if you are thinking about buying new uniforms, I would wait. I would wait because children grow very quickly. And if, who knows when we'll go back in the building. And so I would wait. You don't want to buy uniforms now and then they, get really tall or change at this time and then maybe have to go buy them again. So I would just wait.
Su recomendación de Ms. Everson es que esperen. Como verán, los niños crecido y si compran los uniformes ahora, ya después no les van a quedar. Así que no es algo que ocupen urgente, así que es mejor esperar.
And another one just came through, 2 actually. Will students have lunch in the classrooms? I'm assuming they're talking about in the later, once we get to later stages.
So yes, in stage 2 and 3, the children would eat in the classroom, or depending on the schedule, they might have a grab and go lunch.
La pregunta era si van a recibir almuerzo los niños cuando regresen a clase en los salones. Puede ser que lo reciban en los salones o puede ser que les demos una bolsita y se lo lleven a casa. Depende de las agendas de clase.
Good afternoon. I'm a parent, and I understand that we as parents are concerned right now about what's going on. But I feel like, us as parents right now, we need to focus more on the distance learning. And the reason is like, at this point, how you guys stated, you guys don't know and don't have certain answers. When is it that we are going to go back to school and what is actually going to happen? At this point, I feel like as a parent, we need to know what are the steps that we're going to need to be able to support our students at home. And are we going to have the ability to talk to their teachers, since we're not going to know what are the teachers they're going to have for this coming year? How, as the parent, we're going to be able to support them emotionally, learning wise, and all the things that we need to know, because I'm saying we're not teachers and we're having to play that role right now. And we're being parents, teachers, and moms, having to do multitasking. So I think that we are the ones that should be concerned right now, that we need to support in all different ways. I know that it's kind of like a little bit stressful for a lot of people thinking their students are going to go back to school, but unfortunately it's not happening right now. And as a parent, I don't think it's going to happen this year, honestly, as how things are being seen. So at this point, I think that we need to be realistic of things and focus more on the things that we're going to be having to get done right now.
Absolutely. Thank you for sharing. And you all are so important in this. We know we can't do this without you. And so really thinking about, how can we connect with parents to help you all more with the distance learning? That might be more office hours from teachers and different staff members who can help either understand the material or, give different strategies and tips, but really wanting to make sure that we connect with you. On Monday, when the teachers come back, they will be looking at who their scholars are, and then they will be reaching out to families. So we will start getting that communication flowing. And I understand that this is so hard for all of you all, but we have to definitely work together to make it as good as we can make it. I agree with you.
So I have another question. I know that when stage 2 comes along, are we going to have another meeting and get prepared for it, right?
Absolutely.
Okay, so then at this point, we're just going to focus on the learning distance right now. What is the plan? What needs to be done? And for us to get prepared and then take it from there.
Yep, absolutely.
Okay, that's what I want to focus right now. And I don't know if every parent is on the same page as I am. Because I understand the uniform and all that, but I feel like right now it's more focused on the safety of everybody and the health.
Yep, agreed. So stage 1 is the big focus from, at least till October, and we will see what happens from there.
Ms. Abramson, I want to ask a question.
Can I translate? Let me translate.
Oh, actually, I'll do it in Spanish.
No, let me translate what the other mom was saying. Or do you mind?
Oh, that's fine. That's fine. You're
Let
right.
me just, déjeme traducir un poquito lo que está diciendo la mamá. Es que a ella le gustaría que el enfoque en donde estamos ahora, que es el aprendizaje a distancia, y que no quiere preocuparse mucho de uniforme ni nada más, porque su prioridad para ella es la salud de sus niños y enfocarse en lo que estamos ahora en la etapa de que vamos a estar en el aprendiz a distancia. Y es lo que dijo Ms. Everton, que sí, que la próxima semana las maestras se van a las familias a presentarse y que sepan quiénes son los maestros que le van a tocar a las familias, a los estudiantes. Creo que perdí un poco porque era mucho, pero eso es lo que recuerdo. Go ahead, Mayra.
Okay, my question, I'll do it. I can translate my own question, but so my question would be, I'm wondering what the curriculum for the students is. Is it a modified curriculum, or is it, kind of like what that would look like, or how did that come up with, like a shorter version of what is expected for like a rising third grader? So I was just wondering about that. Mi pregunta es, ¿cuál es el currículo que van a enseñar basado a los grados? Mi hija va a entrar al tercer grado, so tengo preguntas de si es un currículum modificado basado a la distancia, al aprendizaje a la distancia, o cómo encontraron el tipo de currículo para enseñar ahora que estamos en esta etapa.
That's a great question. And I'm going to let Mr. Rand and Mrs. Tao speak a little bit more to it. But what we can expect to see is continued, I'll speak on 3.5 first because you mentioned third. Wit and Wisdom, Eureka, which will have combination workbook that they can do pencil paper for math, but also our online platforms that they'll do their independent learning with. So Mr. Rand, I know you can probably speak to this a little bit in more detail than I will at the time, but overview, we're using Eureka Math, Wit and Wisdom for ELA, which has both a workbook component for Eureka and then an online component for Wit and Wisdom.
Let me translate that first. La respuesta es de que van a utilizar los niños de tercero o quinto, van a utilizar Wit and Wisdom y son unos matemáticas donde van a poder estar llenando con lápiz y papel, y también es un trabajo que se puede hacer en la computadora. Son las dos. Eureka Math también lo que van a estar utilizando los niños de entre tercero a quinto. Y Mr. Ram va a explicar un poquito más.
Miss Angélica?
Sí.
Oh, okay.
Deme un segundito. Deje que conteste Mr. Rand.
Yeah, thank you. So Ms. Saberton's absolutely right. We're going to maintain the curricula that we have used throughout the past couple years. Our focus on high quality literacy instruction and our focus on high quality math instruction using the same curricular tools, just slightly adapted to make them more effective when teaching virtually as opposed to in person. But we're still teaching grade level standards. We're going to talk with the teachers about the priority standards based on a lot of research that's been done about what teachers should be leveraging now to maximize student learning in a really challenging time.
El currículum que utilizando es el mismo que hemos usado por los últimos dos años. Está un poquito, digamos, cambiado para que se lleve a cabo a larga distancia, pero es lo mismo que hemos utilizado anteriormente con un estándar, digamos, estamos teniendo altas expectativas sobre estos programas y sobre, digamos, la educación del...
Can I ask a clarifying question about that?
Sure.
Just to make sure. So the teacher will let us know which, because I haven't used Eureka yet, but maybe because she's going to be a rising third grader. So the teacher would put explain to us how that curriculum would work for the specific student then.
Yeah. So what's different about distance learning this when we launch the new year is there's going to be a greater component of live instruction. So the teacher will be doing more live teaching using that Eureka curriculum with the students. And then they'll be practicing independently and in small groups using the same Eureka tools. So yes.
So la pregunta que hizo fue de la mamá es de que si van a utilizar el Eureka Math, por ejemplo, que van utilizando, que sí se va a proveer esta información a las familias, pero dice como este año se va a estar dando clases de en vivo, la maestra va a estar dando, digamos, las clases, la instrucción, y luego ya después se va a dar esa instrucción de qué es lo que tienen que hacer después a los niños.
And in TK through second grade, similarly, we are using the same math program we've used for the past 2 years. It's also called Eureka Math. And in reading, we are not using our same curriculum because that curriculum is not well designed for virtual instruction. And so in the reading in the lower grades will be grounded in read aloud and reading response and writing. And so I mentioned earlier that in the lower grades, there will be a written component. So your student will have their computer and their packet so that they'll listen to the teacher and then do, the teacher might say these questions or solve this math problem. And so you'll be able to see, and then we're using the computer program as supplemental practice. So that's a different from the spring where kids were like watching the video and then doing the practice on the computer. More of the practice in the lower grades is going to be pencil paper. So en los grados de TK hasta segundo, vamos a usar el mismo programa de matemáticas que hemos usado por los últimos 2 años. Vamos a cambiar el programa de lectura porque el programa de lectura que tenemos para las clases normales no sirve bien en la computadora. O sea, lo que van a hacer los estudiantes es, el maestro o la maestra se puede leer un libro y van a tener actividades de escribir, responder, compartir, o sea, por la parte de la interacción en vivo. Y los niños en TK a segundo van a tener como un paquete que corresponde con la instrucción que están recibiendo en vivo. O sea, se van a poder ver ustedes más lo que está haciendo y cómo se está completando el trabajo su estudiante, porque no vamos a poner menos énfasis en los grados de TK a segundo en el programa de computadora de la práctica. A lo mejor van a hacer la práctica en una hoja de papel con lápiz. So I'm looking, I don't know if anybody else, I captured and I wrote down the questions, Ms. Aberton, and I'm putting them in the notes because there were some about future things, less specifically about distance learning, about like hand washing and things like that. And I'm trying to check the chat to see if I missed anything.
I see a question about report cards. Yes, there will continue to be report cards. There will be continue to be progress monitoring, which basically just means different ways that we're checking on kids' progress and different ways we're telling you about the progress.
Las calificaciones van a ser un reportaje de progreso que le llaman, so va a ser algo diferente. Es como un monitoreando el progreso de los estudiantes.
What else? Were there other questions? Broken technology. If you have a broken computer at home right now, that's okay. You'll see in the parent square that I send out about technology, if you have a broken one, you can come and return it on the 3rd or 4th and we will try to replace it. Again, Aspire and Monarch, we're doing the best we can to get computers. The truth is that even if we had all of the money to buy computers for every single child, everything is backlogged, and that means everyone's trying to get computers right now across California, across the state, across the nation. And so we're waiting on some things, and we're hoping, to be able to get enough computers for everybody. At the time, right now, we're doing the best that we can with what we have, but we hope to get more.
Sobre las computadoras, como habíamos dicho, vamos a estarlas entregando el 3 y el 4. Es preferible si puede, pero vamos a tratar de dar computadoras a todos los estudiantes. Como verán, las computadoras están, digamos, atrasadas, todos los pedidos, todo el mundo está pidiendo computadoras en todo el estado, pero vamos a tratar lo posible de que todos tengan una computadora.
Miss Angélica, mi pregunta era sobre la computadora. La mía no está quebrada, está normal. Puedo mirar que prende, pero cuando pones el email de la niña, no me deja entrar. ¿Puedes mirar lo que dice?
You can bring it in on the 3rd or 4th.
Si puede traerla el 4 estaría perfecto, por favor.
Oh, ok, porque la del niño está funcionando perfecto, es como, no sé qué es lo que pasó con la de la niña.
Ok, nada más venga el 4, por favor.
Llevo esta computadora y puedo ir a agarrar otra, right?
Sí, el 4.
Oh, ok. ¿A qué hora?
Entre las 8 y las 10. Right?
Oh, ok. Okay.
8 and 10, right? No, between 10 and 12. De las 10 a las 2.
Okay.
And then there's a question here, Ms. Saberton, the last one I think is relevant. Will students have extra help if they're struggling with the video chats? Yes, I can answer this one. So like Ms. Saberton said, and some families alluded to, we still have our interventionist team like Miss Moore, Miss Rudy, Miss Adriana, and so Miss Chin. We have our team who can help pair up with teachers and support extra, give students extra support.
And it might not be, I'm sorry, I missed how, I just wanted to interject. Yeah. It might not be one-on-one, but we're hoping it could be at least small group Zoom. So like 2, maybe 3 kids.
So, sí, la pregunta era si van a poder recibir más ayuda a los estudiantes, si es difícil para ellos en los del video, y la respuesta es sí. Tenemos todavía Miss Moore, Miss Chin, Miss Adriana, Miss Rudy, y vamos a intentar hacerlo. Quizás no puede ser 1 por 1, pero como en grupo de 2 o 3 podemos hacer.
Okay, well, it is about 5:17. I think we got all the questions in the chat. We will continue to have open lines of communication. If you have questions, you can call, email, we are here. As I said before, on Monday, our teachers are coming. It's their first day of work. So they are going to be, getting their class lists. They're going to be, working on all this information. And so you will hear more is coming. But here are some really important dates that are coming up. 3rd and 4th of August. Oh, that says Thursday. It shouldn't say Thursday. Monday and Tuesday, the 3rd and 4th of August, new students will be able to get technology. On Friday, August 7th, you will be able to meet your child's teacher online, and the teacher will send the times that work for them. And then Monday, August 10th is the first day of school online, and we will be so happy to see your scholars. We miss them so much, but safety is the most important right now.
Esa es información importante. El 3 y 4 es estar entregando las computadoras a los nuevos estudiantes. El viernes 10 de agosto van a mandar los maestros un horario para que los conozcan. Y el lunes 10 de agosto es nuestro primer día de clases. Como dice Ms. Everton, extrañamos mucho a los niños. Nos va a dar mucho gusto mirar a todos los estudiantes por esas pantallas.
Tengo una pregunta. ¿Me escuchan?
Yes, go ahead.
Sí.
Hi, this is Marta, Susana Barriga's mother. I have a question. So we have a laptop for her. Can I still use that one?
Yes, personal laptops and personal tablets and iPads will continue to work.
So the one I got from school. So I don't have to go on the 3rd or the 4th, right?
No, nope. Everybody who has theirs, and if it's working,
yes,
perfect.
Okay, good. Okay.
Good.
Entonces, si ya tienen una computadora, no tienen que venir por otra. Es solamente para los estudiantes nuevos o para los estudiantes que están descompuesta su computadora. Por eso es que los que vengan el día 4 o los que están descompuestas. Amber, I was saying that if we can get the ones that are broken, so we can have distribute all on the 3rd all to the new students, right?
Say that one more time, Angelica.
August 3rd, if we can distribute to only new students, and on the 4th, if we can get the computers from the students that already had one that are broken, correct?
Yeah, that will work.
Yeah. Okay.
And we'll put that out in Parent Square reminders.
Great.
Okay, everyone. Stay safe. It's good to see you. We miss your children, and we will continue to communicate with you and keep you notified every step of the way. Please reach out if you have any questions or any needs.
Estaremos en comunicación, gracias, y avísenos si es que tienen algún tipo de pregunta.
All right, goodbye, everyone.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, Talia.
I know.